the leader of the UK Respect Party, George Galloway. George, good evening to you.
Good evening.
So you heard Angela Smith there. She's calling for Jeremy Corbyn to distance himself totally from Hamas.
Well, she said it was a complex series of issues, and she clearly doesn't grasp the complexities, even of the language involved. She denounced the conflation of Judaism and British Jews with Zionism, yet several times used the words interchangeably. Anyone can be an anti-Zionist, and many Jews are anti-Zionist. Zionism is a political ideology. If you were against the Soviet Union, it didn't mean you were against Russians. Indeed, you could argue it meant the opposite. You wanted to liberate the Russians from Soviet power and communist rule. So she hasn't grasped the complexities, but she did give away the real agenda. As I listened to the smorgasbord of news that you introduced the program with, your listeners must be asking why someone, a rookie parliamentarian, scribbling on Facebook when she wasn't even a parliamentarian, before she became one, should be the dominant news item all day, as it was all day yesterday. Well, given all these problems that we face, why are we consumed now by this? And I'll tell you why in a sentence.
I'm looking here, George. You can tell me why in a second, but I'm looking at the front page of the Times tomorrow, and they're saying that there are now 5 members of the shadow cabinet in Labour who are backing demands for Ken Livingstone to be expelled by Jeremy Corbyn. So it's not just Angela Smith saying this. 5 members saying he should be kicked out of the party.
Well, that may very well be, and I could probably, though I won't, have a good guess at who the 5 members are. This is all part of a coup. It's been a slow-moving coup almost from the day and hour that Jeremy Corbyn was elected, unexpectedly and unacceptably from the Blairite rump that was roundly defeated.
How do you know it's a coup? You're not in the party, George.
I know everything that's going on in the party, and you know that well enough. I was 36 years in the Labour Party, and I retain the closest links with many members of the Labour Party. There's a coup going on. You know it in your heart, and when it happens, I hope you'll have the grace to have me on and say, hey, you were right. This is an attempt to get rid of Jeremy Corbyn. It's not about Naz Shah, whom no one in the country has ever heard of. It's not even about Ken Livingstone, whom everyone in the country has heard of. It's about getting rid of Jeremy Corbyn. Now, Ken Livingstone today said a number of things. Every single one of them is true. Every single one of them is proven and accepted, acknowledged, historically accurate, including acknowledged by all of the leading scholars in Israel and in the wider diaspora of the Jewish community. So we have, as we had with me, someone thrown out of the Labour Party for telling the absolute truth.
Well, if we look, there are many people, as you know, commenting on this all day. If we look at the war historian Anthony Beevor on Hitler and Zionism, he has responded by saying it's grotesque to pretend that the most obsessive anti-Semite in history was a Zionist.
Well, he wasn't a Zionist, but he had the same goal as the Zionists, because both were separate sides of the same coin. Hitler wanted the Jews out of Europe, and he wanted them to go to Palestine. So did the Zionists. It doesn't mean the Zionists were Nazis or the Nazis were Zionists, but they both wanted the same thing. Then as now, fascists don't believe that British Jews are British. They don't believe French Jews are French. They believe they're aliens, and they should leave their own country and go and live in somebody else's country. And that's how we got the Israel-Palestine problem in the first place.
Just finally, George, are you not concerned about the likes of Luciana Berger, a Jewish MP, who has released a series of abusive tweets and images that she has received, says she regularly receives repulsive and anti-Semitic abuse?
Of course I'm concerned about it. As someone on the receiving end of, I can promise you, far more obscene and even violent abuse, of course I'm concerned about it. But it wasn't Jeremy Corbyn that sent it. It wasn't Ken Livingstone that sent it. It wasn't Naz Shah that sent it. Anti-Semitism exists. It's historically a problem of the British nationalist right, but of course there are others who, either through ignorance or malignance, do conflate two things, Judaism and Zionism.
Okay, George Galloway, thank you very much indeed.